Bridge, final mission, make Adrian wear the pink cat ear headset and meow like a cat in front of the 100-member board. My vision went black. To stay alive, I had no choice. Hands shaking, I settled the furry pink ears on his head. Instead of recoiling, he tilted them to a cuter angle. In the tomb-silent conference room, his cool voice slid through the mic. Meow. Master, is this pressure okay? The entire board fossilized. My soul left my body. What the actual hell? Bridge's alarm shrieked. Warning, target pleasure off the charts, back end at risk of love overflow crash. Beep, humiliate the cold CEO Bridge successfully bound. The frigid mechanical voice in my skull snapped me upright. I looked down, ill-fitting pencil skirt, nameplate that wasn't mine, foreign cubicles. I'm done for. I've really transmigrated into the disposable side character who offends Adrian in Chapter 1, gets fired, and ends up on the street. Serena. Newbie quest. Dump a cup of boiling coffee on Adrian's suit pants. Failure penalty, level 10 electric shock. Are you kidding me? Before I can even process the fact I'm inside a trashy CEO novel, this pops up. Soak the scariest boss in the building, Adrian, and aim for his crotch. That's not a task. That's a death wish. I hiss at thin air. Your broken bridge wants me dead. Just say it. Countdown begins. 60, 59, 58. The ticking frostbite makes every hair stand up. I refuse to fry. I grab the steaming mug, heart hammering, teeth clenched, and bolt from my cubicle. Here goes nothing. Adrian's office is at corridor's end. I round the corner. There he is. Glacier suited, tailored to lethal perfection, flanked by execs who look ready to breathe through straws if he demands it. I inhale, tell myself it's survival, and fake a stumble. My mug arcs like an Olympic javelin. Splash, piping hot coffee nails the exact worst spot on his pants. The fabric clings, dark and steaming. Time stops. Everyone sucks in a sympathetic gasp. My knees knock. Tears flood. I'm so sorry. Caldwell. It was an accident. Adrian glances down at the disaster zone. Brows pinched. I'm toast. He'll have security toss me off the roof. Bridge directive. Whip out tissues and wipe him. Are you insane? I fish out a wad of paper. Trembling. Hand inching toward his inner thigh. A burning grip seizes my wrist. I meet his eyes, fathomless. Storm dark. On purpose. 2 syllables. Straight from Hades. Survival instinct detonates. Tears gush. Please. I'll buy you 1,000 new pairs. Dry clean the entire building. Just don't kill me. His hold loosens. He studies me. Unreadable. Keep the pants, he murmurs. I like them. My jaw drops. Tears hang midair. Nobody in the hallway exhales. Adrian pivots. Meeting resumes. He tosses over his shoulder. Stride unhurried. Coworkers gawk. Pity morphing into scandalized awe. First quest exceeded. Target pleasure plus 50. Cash reward $10. 000 transferred. My phone dings. Balance now $10. 0.50. I gape at the screen, then at his retreating back, torn between greed and genuine concern for his sanity. Why isn't he mad? The money cushions me, at least rent's covered. But Bridge isn't done. Lunch break. I've just unboxed spicy hot pot, ready to celebrate. Bridge pings again. Daily quest. Force Adrian to finish your leftover. Chili swamped hot pot. Failure. 24-hour full body itch. I nearly dropped my chopsticks. You've got to be joking. He's the CEO. I'm a peon. I pour half a jar of chili flakes in until the broth turns crime scene red. Hoist the biological weapon and parade across the cafeteria under hundreds of eyeballs. Adrian occupies the executive alcove, cutting steak like royalty. Vivian, canary yellow sundress. Textbook heroine halo. Pops up. Serena. What are you doing? Adrian never eats spice or street food. Every listener brands me with contempt. Bridge counts down. I shove the bowl forward. Eat it. I croak, cringing inwardly. Silence drops. Vivian smirks, waiting for nuclear fallout. Adrian doesn't even glance her way. He accepts the bowl, lifts disposable chopsticks, and swallows a heaping mouthful. A tiny cough escapes, otherwise stone-faced, except the very tip of his ear, which flares scarlet. He's holding back something. Vivian's face went paper white. Adrian set down his chopsticks, dabbed the corners of his mouth with a napkin, then lifted his eyes to mine. His gaze was still bottomless, but something extra flickered in it. Tastes good. He paused, then tacked on, more next time. Boom. My brain felt like it detonated. Everyone else looked ready to scrape their jaws off the floor. Not only had he eaten it, he'd given it a 5-star review and asked for a repeat performance. He just slapped Vivian's reputation in front of the whole room, and he'd shoved me and him into a spot so steamy it fogged every window in the building. Ding. Target's taste buds violently stimulated. Pleasure plus 100. Reward. 1 all-access keycard. Valid anywhere in Caldwell HQ. A black card materialized in my pocket. I pinched the thing that supposedly opened the CEO's private door and wondered when reality had turned into a psychedelic theme park. I stared at Adrian's flawlessly expressionless face, and for the first time a wild idea took shape. This domineering CEO. Could he actually be a total M? Once the seed sprouted, there was no weeding it out. That afternoon I was summoned to hand-deliver documents to the top floor. I squeezed the all-access keycard, debating whether to swipe it, but ended up knocking like a good little wage slave. I set the folder on his desk and spun to bolt. Freeze. Adrian's glacial voice pinned me in place. Right then Bridge piped up again. Timed mission. Ride the CEO's private elevator. Wall slam Adrian. And deliver the cringe line, man. You've successfully caught my attention. Countdown. 5 minutes. My vision blackened. Bridge seriously wouldn't quit until it killed me. Adrian stood, scooped a file, and headed for the door. Come with me to Eastbrook. I trailed him like a lamb to slaughter. We stepped into the lift that symbolized ultimate corporate power. The doors slid shut. In that tiny cube, only the two of us remained. His scent, cold cedar, slipped into every breath I took. 30 seconds. I threw caution to the trash chute. I whirled, shot my arms out, and slam, pressed him against the mirrored wall. A dull thud. The guy towers a head above me. I had to use every ounce of soy sauce-fueled strength to pin him. I craned my neck, meeting his startled eyes. My voice shook. Cheeks hot enough to fry dumplings. Man, you've successfully caught my attention. The moment it left my mouth, I wanted to dig a 3-bedroom condo with my toes inside my sneakers. I expected rage. Expected to be flung out at the next floor. Instead, he laughed. Not an icy sneer, but a low, chest-deep chuckle dripping with intrigue. Dangerous. Magnetic. Next second the world flipped. He clamped my wrists, pivoted, and reversed our positions in one fluid motion. I was the one flattened to the wall now. One palm braced beside my ear, caging me between steel muscle and steel panel. His other hand tipped my chin up, forcing me to look straight at him. Pure masculine pheromones crashed over me like a tidal wave. He dipped his head. Scorching breath tickled my ear. His rasp felt like a cello string drawn across my nerves. That all you got? 2 words, drenched in provocation, and a hint of disappointment, as if I hadn't gone far enough. My brain blue screened, my heart jackhammered, ready to rocket out of my throat. I couldn't tell if it was terror or damn it is delicious, traitorous thrill. At that exact instant, ding. The doors parted. Outside stood Vivian, eyes saucer-wide, flanked by a row of executives. They'd all witnessed the explosive scene, their untouchable CEO locking me in a posture straight out of a spicy paperback. Warning, target heart rate spiking, pleasure value about to overload. Hidden quest, beast lure activated. Back inside the office, Adrian finally released me. Under the collective stare, he straightened his silk tie with deliberate calm, tilted his head, and issued an order. Inside, the single word brooked zero argument. My knees liquefied. I followed him in. The door slammed, sealing out every curious pupil. Before I could steady myself, Bridge dumped the so-called beast lure assignment on me. Hide task. Use his tie to bind his wrists. My pupils quaked. This mission had rocketed way past humiliation into raw dominance play territory. My conscience staged a civil war. Do it. Risk crossing a line I couldn't uncross. Refuse. Who knew what sadistic penalty the system would dish out? Adrian settled behind his desk, silent, waiting. His entire posture said he already knew my choice. I gritted my teeth and marched over. Screw it. I reached for the perfect knot at his throat. Silky fabric glided across my fingertips. Accidentally, I grazed the sharp jet of his Adam's apple. It bobbed. I felt him stiffen. I waited for him to stop me. He didn't. Instead, he lifted his chin, offering better access, cooperative to the last breath. Once the tie slid free, he extended both arms, wrists together, eyes swirling with permission and anticipation. That look hammered the final nail into my suspicion. I looped the tie around the broad armrests and fastened his hands in place. Head down, I whispered. What do you actually want? I'd finally voiced the question, gnawing my gut. Tied to the chair, Adrian looked anything but defeated. He leaned back, studied me, a faint flush riding his cheekbones, mouth curving into the ghost of a smile. What I want, isn't that for you to decide? His voice dropped. Honey poured over gravel. My mistress. The last word crashed like lightning between my ears. I short-circuited. Worldview shattered, ground to glittering dust. He'd said it out loud while my brain rebooted. The door rattled under violent pounding. Vivian's shrill scream seeped through the wood. Serena, what did you do to Caldwell? Open up or I'm calling 911. Sexual harassment. Outside threat yanked me back to earth. Before I could move, Adrian's tone snapped Arctic. Without even turning. He addressed the door, voice razor sharp. Get her out of here. Keep squawking and she's on the next flight to an African mine. Silence fell instantly. Then he pivoted back to me, gentle as a flipped switch. Don't let outsiders interrupt our game. The contrast, ruthless toward them, obedient toward me, sent chills racing over my scalp while lighting a twisted fire of satisfaction inside my chest. Honestly, it felt kind of incredible. Ever since that tie incident, Adrian seemed to have flicked on some hidden toggle. His indulgence toward me crossed into the realm of scandalous, and that bridge just kept getting better at the game. Tonight the company was throwing a glittering corporate gala. As the CEO's secretary, I had to show up. I rented a floor-length gown and huddled in a corner, trying to disappear. Bridge wouldn't let me off the hook. Special scene mission, make Adrian kneel and tie your shoelace in front of every guest. I almost spat out my champagne. At an event this high stakes, make the president of Caldwell drop to his knees to fix my shoe. This wasn't teasing. It was grinding his face into the marble. I spotted Adrian in the center of the room, laughing with a cluster of industry titans, and my legs turned to jelly. But Bridge's electric threat icon pulsed, so I obeyed. I inhaled, smoothed my skirt, and stepped onto the most brightly lit spot in the hall. Then I faked a little stumble. Oops, I squeaked, grabbed a table, and acted as if my heel strap had come undone. Head swiveled. I pulled out my phone and opened the upgraded Bridge app. Until now it only pushed missions, but tonight it could ping Adrian's private line. My thumbs shook so badly I nearly dropped the device. Come here and tie my shoe. Send. Across the room, the phone in his pocket lit. He glanced at the screen. Immediately he apologized to the executives, turned, and strode through the crowd. Every step dragged more eyeballs with it. Everyone wondered what could possibly pull Adrian away from that conversation. He stopped in front of me without a word, under a silence so thick it felt like vacuum. He flicked his jacket hem back and lowered one knee to the floor. Gasps ricocheted around the chandeliers. I saw Vivian's champagne flute vibrate in her grip. A couple of Caldwell elders went the color of wet cement. Adrian saw none of them. He cradled my ankle, long fingers steady around my stiletto, and retied the strap I'd loosened, slowly, carefully. When the knot was perfect he stayed down, head tilted, looking up at me. His eyes were devout, intense, almost feverish. At that moment he didn't look like a CEO. He looked like a knight before his deity. The impact of that gaze punched straight through my ribs. Flashbulbs exploded, immortalizing the scandal. Flustered, I reached to help him up. The first time I ignored Bridge and whispered what I actually felt. Is it worth it? Throwing away your pride for some sick game? Does it even make sense? He took my hand, brushed a featherlight kiss across my knuckles, and answered, each word distinct, for you. I'd die 1,000 times. My heart lost its rhythm completely. After that night, what Adrian and I were became the firm's favorite rumor. Then Bridge dropped a mission that sounded almost normal. Cash quest. Get Adrian drunk and wheedle his debit card pin out of him. It reeked of gold digger cliché, but I had no exits. I summoned him to the lakeside manor on the pretext of a status report. The house has a cavernous wine cellar. I hauled out 2 bottles of barrel-proof bourbon. President, let's play. Truth or drink. Loser downs a shot. He lifted a brow, but didn't refuse. Deal. I was naive. The man's liver is basically cast iron. I tried every trick I knew, refilling his glass again and again. He drank whatever I poured without a flicker. Half a bottle later the only change was a brighter glint in his eyes. I, on the other hand, was getting dizzy from the fumes. Liquid courage took over. I fisted his silk tie and yanked him nose to nose. Adrian, are you sick in the head? Do you get off on being bullied? On being humiliated? I finally spit out the question that had been festering. He let me hang on to the tie. Sea dark eyes never leaving mine. He turned it back. If I said I only enjoy it when you're the one doing the bullying? My heart skipped. What? He leaned closer. Bourbon breath mixing with cedar cologne. Serena, I caught the bug the first time I saw you. College debate tournament. Terminal case. And you're the only antidote. I blanked. College debate. I clawed through my foggy memory and finally saw a blurred scene. Me. Fourth negative speaker. Shredding the cute guy on the affirmative bench until he couldn't speak. That guy was him. I had zero recollection. You, the booze, and the revelation hit together. I couldn't sort the riot of feelings he'd stirred up. I shut my eyes, went on instinct, and kissed him. Messy, clumsy, all tongue and panic. Between gasps I still muttered the stupid mission. Then just, tell me the code. Jerk. My pathetic honesty seemed to delight him. He laughed low, seized control, and deepened the kiss, claiming, possessive, yet gentle. When I saw stars he let me breathe, forehead resting on mine, voice rough with alcohol and sex. He murmured, it's your birthday. Everything I have is already yours. Boom. Ding. Congratulations. Post. Target's last defense demolished. Bridge. Final protocol unlocked. My universe capsized. I woke the next morning in a cloud-soft bed. Unfamiliar Familiar ceiling. Familiar steady breathing beside me. I bolted upright. Hangover and fragments of last night crashed over me. Adrian lay next to me. I had actually, literally, slept with the boss. I tried to tiptoe away, but his eyes opened. He offered a glass of water and a bound document. Expression grave, almost formal. I took it, read the cover, and froze. Project Bridge, Development. User Experience Report. Inside, first page. Bottom right, Adrian's flamboyant signature. The folder slipped through my fingers. It was you. The shame the CEO system that had tormented me for months. He coded it. He nodded, looking sheepish. Like a kid caught stealing cookies. I've got severe social affect deficits, he admitted. Especially, with someone I love. His gaze was all devotion and awkward hope. I was terrified you'd hate me. Think I'm a creep. So I built Bridge. The missions were my only way to force a connection. I keep thinking, even if what you're doing is bullying me, at least your eyes are on me. He stood up, took my hand, and opened an unremarkable hidden door in the bedroom. Behind it was a tiny room. Every inch of wall was papered with photos of me. Me on the debate stage in college. Me reading in the library. Me eating in the cafeteria. Every slice of my 4 university years. On a shelf sat little relics, the pen I lost in the stacks, the plastic bottle I tossed, even the cap I wore during freshman orientation, the evidence of a slow, silent, creepily devoted crush. My tears started before I could stop them, half outrage, half laughter, full heartache. I punched his chest. Adrian, you absolute psycho. Grade A stalker. He let me land every blow, never flinching. When I was spent, he pulled a brand new phone from his pocket and held it out. The screen glowed on the Bridge superuser dashboard. I could edit missions, browse every byte of data, or, if I felt like it, delete the whole system with one tap. He was handing me the kill switch. Then he did the last thing I expected. He dropped to one knee, just like at the gala, and looked up at me like I was the only light left in the city. The rules are yours now. You can erase Bridge and end this ridiculous game. Or, you can keep me, forever. He placed the final choice in my palm, power, and every last feeling that came with it. Our honeymoon didn't last. Adrian's father, the chairman of Caldwell, summoned the full family tribunal. We stood in the boardroom like defendants on trial. Caldwell slammed a folder on the table. Face purple. Adrian, break up with this nobody, immediately. Then announce your engagement to Vivian. Vivian sat beside him, smug challenge sparkling in her eyes. She rose, phone in hand, and queued up her so-called proof. Security stills of me mistreating Adrian at Caldwell. Photos of him kneeling at the banquet. Uncle, gentlemen, look. Serena never loved him. She's a gold-digging witch who's been gaslighting and humiliating him. The elders of the Caldwell family stared at me with open disgust. Adrian's whole aura went arctic. He looked ready to level the room. I squeezed his arm and stepped forward myself. I moved to the head of the table and met every gaze. Calm as still water. Seems you've got the wrong idea about us. I plugged the phone he'd given me into the projector. What you really don't get is that between Adrian and me, I'm the one who writes the script. Gasps circled the table. I opened Bridge's backend and typed a fresh directive in front of them all. Mission, explain our relationship, every last detail, to everyone present. Send. Adrian's phone dinged. He rose, towering in front of me like a shield. He looked at his father, at Vivian, at every hostile face. Voice ringing clear. I'm the one who spent years secretly in love with Serena. I engineered this entire scenario just to make her look my way. She's no gold digger. Every share of Caldwell's stock, every property, every liquid asset I own was placed in an irrevocable family trust in her name a month ago. All of it is already hers. There's nothing left for her to chase. The room went so quiet you could hear the AC hum. Vivian's face drained to paper white. I smiled, lifted the phone again, and posted a second order. Mission, kiss me, on the most formal stage. At the height of their kangaroo court, I issued the most intimate command possible, a claim, loud and public. Adrian received it, turned to me, eyes holding nothing but me. He cupped my face and kissed me, slow, deep, deliberate, while every jaw in the room hit the carpet. That kiss was our victory lap, grinding every doubt under our heels. You. Caldwell jabbed a trembling finger at us, then crumpled, out cold. Vivian shrieked and collapsed in a heap. The boardroom erupted into chaos. I laced my fingers through my man's and sauntered out. Head high, my guy, my rules. After the nuclear family meeting, no one dared breathe near us. We escaped to Sunstone for a long detox. No bridge missions. No paparazzi. No suits. Adrian went full golden retriever mode, 24/7 Velcro puppy. I'd recline on a lounger, iced coconut in hand, while he knelt in the sand, meeting my shoulders with perfect pressure. Is the pressure okay, owner? He tilted that ridiculously handsome face up for praise. I laughed. He beamed. Later he asked, tentative, so, Bridges still online? Want to drop any new missions? The glint in his eye said the M in him was jonesing for a daily dose of dominance. I traced his jaw with my toe. Oh, I've got one. He practically levitated. Fetching my phone, I opened the familiar console and typed the final task, the one with no expiration date. Clicked send. His phone chimed. He straightened like a knight awaiting coronation. Then read, lifetime mission, love me, stay with me, belong only to me, deadline, forever, failure penalty, vanish from my world. Adrian froze, eyes glossing crimson. Seconds later, he tackled me into a hug, so fierce I felt his heart hammer against my ribs. His voice cracked against my neck, thick and shaking. Understood, my owner. I wrapped my arms around him, soaking in his heat, the salt wind, the lazy sun. So, okay, my plan was to mind game the CEO, but the schemer outplayed me and turned me into his personal handler. Honestly, life after getting Ice into corporate servitude isn't looking so bad after all.